Next, we're going to create a drop caps. So if you look at the drop cap sentence, which is one down, the last word is letter, and the first letter of that word is the L, and it's much larger and it is below the rest of the word, and that's called a drop caps. And you run into this especially in things like newsletter. What it is it's a visual cue to say start reading here, and it's useful to know how to make in Photoshop. So pick a, let's see, let's go with Kerning. Highlight the K in Kerning, and what we're going to do is increase the font size by going to the character panel, and the font size is the one that has two T's that are two different sizes. We'll just click and drag on that and make that K quite a bit bigger. And then the baseline is what we need to affect, and the baseline is the bottom here of all of these letters. And by bottom I mean, see this line that's going through everything that indicates this is active type? That's where the baseline is, and things like the descender in Y's and G's go past that baseline, and we're just going to move that line down. The baseline is over here in the character panel, and it's the one that's got an A and then it almost looks like a fraction after that. So if we click on that and drag to the left, that will put that into the negative, and you can move it to where it looks sort of okay. Now if I move my cursor elsewhere in the type, I'll notice that we've got kind of a kerning problem, and that the E is quite a ways away from the K, and it's creating a visual separation. So when I look at it, I'm not reading kerning, I'm reading earning, and I need to have these closer so that I can read it as the same word. So I'm going to click at the front of the E, hold down Option, and use my left arrow to move that in a little bit. Now you see how that's touching the top of the K is now touching the top of the E. I want to change that, so I'm going to again highlight the K and then click and drag. Let's go maybe just teach up so that it's more centered within the K, and hit enter. So now it looks like it says kerning. So that is a drop caps that's also affecting the baseline of a letter. The spacing between lines is called leading. So if I take my type tool and click on this, I'll notice that there is a dotted line around this, creating a box that indicates that it's paragraph type, which means I can grab any of these corners and resize it, and the whole thing would change and adjust to fit in that box. But what we want to change is the space between these lines. So let's just hit enter to get out of that editable stage and take a look over here in the character box. There is the one, it's got two A's stacked on top of each other with some vertical arrows, and mine is set to 19. If you click on that, again there is an auto setting so we can see what this font is set up to go to if you choose auto setting, and that decreased the space between those lines. Now on this one over here there is not enough space, that they've crashed here. So on this one you can do the same thing by highlighting it, and you can change that by clicking and dragging, just like we did with tracking. Is a good way to do it. You can do that by choosing a number. Shows too huge of a number there, it disappeared. The other thing you can do, and you'll notice that down at the bottom of this page there's a list of optional hotkeys, is hold down Option and then use your up and down arrows. So I think that one only works if the text is highlighted. So if you highlight it and then use your Option and up and down arrows, it will increase the spacing between lines. It will also increase the spacing between multiple lines. So here it only has 2 lines, but if I had something that had more lines, it could do it there as well. And then just push enter or command return to get out of leading. Alignment is the next one. So if you click on You Can Affect, it'll take us to that layer, and you can see that it is in a paragraph box. Now, right now it's aligned to the right, so all of the text is flush, or I'm sorry, not aligned to the right, aligned to the left. It's flush left, and that's where everything is lining up. You can affect alignment in a couple of places. Remember, some of the basic settings for the type tool are here in the control bar, but we'll take a look at it over here in the paragraph panel. So I'm clicking on the paragraph tab to get that up. And the layer that I'm on is set to this flush left. Now you'll notice that there's a few more options here than what we'd seen before. So you can click through to see how that affects your text. They're centered, align right. These ones are justifieds. So this is justify all except last line, which is justify left. And this is justify last centered and justify last right. So you can see how that goes. And then justify all will give you something like this, which actually isn't very easy to read. So let's click on justify last left and then take a look at what's going on. So here we've got some hyphenation, and that makes it a little bit difficult to read. We also have a really big space between these words because it's tried to spread them out equally across that optional space. The way to get around a couple of those things is to, one, choose the to unhyphenate them. So in paragraph, you can uncheck the hyphenate box, and that just makes this look worse at the moment. But let's click on it with the type tool and drag that bottom corner out until it looks more like the option next to it. Now you'll notice that we've got some overlapping type here. I'm going to click on the one that I want to move, and I think if you hold down Command, you can just grab that and move it right over and push Enter to be done.